and welcome back to The Inside, LPY After Hours. This is episode four. Episode 4 of our podcast. I am here surrounded with a bunch of fantastic human beings, as you can see right here in our podcast Table 1 lineup. So here's what we're talking about tonight, guys. Try to avoid your awkward pauses as soon as I ask questions. Be ready and answer those.
Edit them out.
I'm ready.
Expeditiously. No, man, we can't.
That's your job.
No, we don't edit it out.
Yeah.
It's got to be raw and real.
Exactly,
You know what I'm
Avon.
saying? Like, real.
Spider-Man's ready to answer.
One take.
Batman too.
One take. Unless you say something that you shouldn't.
I'm actually
Pauses?
I'm Ken Carson.
Something
Today.
Brayden would do.
All right, here we go. So tonight we're talking about growth. So our second core value at LPY is a challenging place to grow. Right. So first one is a safe place to belong. Second one is a challenging place to grow. So I'm going to ask this question. I think it was in y'all's small group material as well. I ought to know that. I write it, but I do not remember what I wrote. The first question, though, is what is spiritual growth?
Wait, we need to introduce ourselves.
No, we don't.
I don't think we have.
It's okay.
What?
To grow? Okay, I have an answer.
Avon has an answer.
No, you don't need
They
to
introduce it in the.
Yeah, I mean, that'll take forever.
It's me, Brayden.
What does it mean to grow spiritually? What
I
is
have an
spiritual
answer.
growth? Go, Avon.
Okay. To grow spiritually could mean many things, but growing spiritually has to do with finding what you're called to do. And you can't, if you don't grow spiritually, then you won't be in the right place to do what you are called to do.
What I like that. What would you say to someone who like struggles to know within? Because I think the one limitation to your answer there is
The answer
huh?
is the answer.
No,
That's the
no.
limitation.
No, the difficulty is what if someone doesn't know? Does that mean that they don't grow spiritually if they don't know what God's plan is for?
No, that's what I'm saying, is that you can't know if you're not growing.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Spiritual growth leads to the answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
I like that answer.
Hunter, you had something to say, my friend. Go ahead.
Oh, like growing spiritually?
Yeah.
Hunter?
No, I'm not Hunter.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brady.
That's Brayden.
This would have been avoided if we would have done the introductions. Yeah.
So I feel like growing spiritually is like, just it's like not evolving, but it's like as you grow up, you eventually like you know what you need, and it all pieces together. So they're not scattered everywhere. The more mature and the more older you get. So
Okay.
it's like a puzzle.
Well, all right. So let me challenge that one. I challenged Avon's. Let me challenge yours.
Okay.
So you said that the older you get, the more mature you get. Is it possible to grow in maturity but not to grow in spirituality?
Yeah.
And how so?
It's like
Take him for example.
okay. I take offense
For
to
those who didn't hear,
No,
his
I'm like-
sister just said, take him, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very immature, but like I feel like I'm immature, but I'm also mature whenever I need to be. Like I like to have fun, but I also like to lock in and like do what I need to do, and I'm not scattered all over the place. Like I feel like I have my goals and I have my achievements, like what I want to achieve in front of me, and I go for it. But I also like to have fun on the way there.
Maturity does not come with age. Wisdom comes with age.
That's real.
Bro,
Wise
this isn't
words.
Wisdom.
this isn't Lego Ninjago, bro.
Wise
Who do you
words
think
from
you
age.
are?
Wisdom comes with experience.
Wisdom comes with age, not.
Yes. Oh, wait, I want to say it again. Oh,
Here.
are you good?
No, it's okay. For me, I feel like growing would be like letting go of things that are holding you down in your faith. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do tell. Like, what do you mean? Like, give some examples.
like say you're stuck on this, like this sin is holding you back from being a better Christian. You need to let go of that. You need to find somebody who you can talk to and somebody who can grow with you to help you let go of that, like sin.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because we try to make a big deal at LPY about with the spiritual rating scale of 1 through 10 is we talked about this in belonging, that it's important if you're a 2, if you progress to a 3, that we make a big deal about that and celebrate that with those people. So instead of waiting, I think we have a temptation, again, like we said in that podcast, that if you're a 2, we have this temptation to wait till you get to a 7 to tell you did a good job.
Yeah. Like, for instance, me and Avon, we have this, what's that verse that we like? It's like about dull and sharp or whatever. Can you say it? Like, one thing sharpens another.
Iron sharpens iron as a friend sharpens a friend.
Yeah, that's our favorite.
Hey,
Proverbs 27:17.
Okay, you got to what's the reference? You got it. Good.
That's
Hey,
our-
I've already said that.
That's
on
our
the
favorite
podcast.
one because
Yeah, that was like 2
we
weeks ago.
when we first started being friends, we absolutely knew nothing, and then we kind of sharpened each other.
that's a good point.
I can tell
like
looking
that.
back our growth together.
That's a really good point because I mean, wouldn't you agree that it is absolutely impossible to grow spiritually without other people?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what's so funny? Hold on, I have it.
Do tell. Nice.
It's on my paper.
That really.
And we just brought Ivana. Ivana's new, and we just now like we want to. She's gonna
Awesome.
be our another sharpen. You're our victim.
That's how.
Bro, I like how that sounds.
I'm gonna sharpen her
That's
You're
that's
being
interesting.
sharpened.
So that's a good point because that's how individuals grow, but also ultimately a group grows. So y'all are
We're
doing
growing
a
as
fantastic job.
as a podcast group as well.
That's true.
We're gonna
That's
add
true.
people. to our
100%.
Best friends.
Take over the internet for them.
Really? Best friend.
We're best
Callie, you look like you had something to say earlier, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but go.
It's okay. Okay, so earlier, whenever Annalise said something about like holding things down and not being able to let them go, an example of that would be like if you have a friend that like is not good for you,
Mm.
and they don't like they will not let you help them. You've got to let them go and find someone who wants to grow with you.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you? I've had multiple friends like that, but I've also thought like I've always been like I want to like drop them, but like what if they need you in that moment and they're like wait like you're somebody who they don't want to give up on you? Like imagine like you weren't a big believer in Christ, and you were like I really need her to stay with me. It's just that I'm going through a tough time. If I let you go, I would regret later on what I could have done to help you.
It's not that you drop them completely. It's just you should really still have them there, but you should also find someone else who will grow with you.
Yeah, don't like help somebody, but don't let them drag you down with
Yeah.
with them.
I like that.
I made something about this in my application. Is I said that by fixing or separating yourself from people or things that tempt you away from your growth or hold you back, that's how you can grow personally.
Mm.
I agree.
Hey, speaking of that, real quick, this kind of not had nothing to do with what we're talking about, other than the fact that, well, hopefully this is a way that we help you grow spiritually here at LPY. But do y'all like the new small group format? By the way,
Me personally,
There's
I do.
pros and cons
the
about it.
Bible-centered approach to it. That's
I like it.
I mean, I'm essentially setting that question up to where you can't say no.
I
Obviously,
make Annalise.
obviously it's hard for like okay, me and Avon's a freshman and I'm an 8th grader, so obviously she like we were talking about how we help sharpen each other, and it's kind of hard to be away from each other, but it kind of teaches us how to sharpen other people with what we built. Like me and her are in the same grade, but me and her in different grades, but we still want to always guys
I have
stop.
no friends.
We want to be
and I'm
together,
alone.
but I like the fact that we are separated at the same time.
I would say that, like, I think there's also pros and cons to it, as we've been saying. I think
Real quick, I'm gonna cut you off. Sorry.
You're fine.
Let me clarify for people who don't know what we're talking about. So, what we do in Bible studies, we just transitioned over to our small groups. We do what's called the SOAP method. It's an acronym for Scripture, Observations, Application, and then Prayer. So the first part of small groups now is to read and reread for like 5 or so minutes a section of Scripture, and then they write down their observations, what they think that means, anything they find interesting, and then their application, how they apply that to their life, down. So it's essentially a way of studying rather than just reading Scripture. So go ahead. I just wanted to clarify that real quick.
okay. Is this close enough?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, so I would say that I like it, but at the same time, I kind of don't, because I feel like some days I don't have as much context and stuff as I would like to have. I think I get a lot more out of it. Like, you know, when you tell stories in the beginning of a message, I feel like for me personally, that kind of helps me get a visual in my head of what the verses were about to like go into, kind of how they relate to that. And it kind of helps me realize, like, with you and your human personal life, how
With
you
human.
how you connect that to like verses in the Bible,
Yeah.
that kind of helps me connect it to my life and how I could see how that would work.
Yeah. What you're saying that is lacking in small groups.
Well, I just feel like it's harder having small group for like middle schoolers first because
I
like
agree.
before the message, if that makes
It's
sense.
a tension we're trying to figure out. I don't really know the answer.
I would say Anna Ruth is a very, very, very good small group leader.
That was 3 varies, Anna Ruth.
Ah, she has
Very, very,
all the
very.
points.
She's amazing.
She's great. I feel like what I would look for in a small group leader is what Anna Ruth is. She gets to certain points without following stuff like specifically. No, we don't go over the paper every single step,
That's fine.
but she makes points very clear. And yes, she realizes we do get very confused sometimes, especially not hearing the message first and like feeling like we don't have as much context as we would like to have. She makes very good points, and she also tries to connect with us on like a personal level, and she kind of puts our concerns like between us, and she lets that kind of like, she takes, if we're okay with it, she takes her own personal stuff and our personal stuff and kind of helps connect it to what we're talking about, and I like that a lot. We don't want anyone to come to LPY and feel like they're disregarded or like separate from everybody else or that they don't belong because they might think they're on a lower spiritual level than everybody else. And wait, what did I just say?
No, I mean, you created, I mean, you started thinking, like, we'll need all the 8s to go to small group now. Like,
No,
if you're a
no,
spiritual
no.
8,
That's
please
not
go
what
to
I'm-
small group. All you 2s, you need to be in here.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I know that's not what you're saying. It just made me think of that.
Sorry. I'm
No
sorry.
need to apologize.
But like, I don't want anybody to ever feel like if they go one place and they're not like on the same level as somebody else for them to feel left out.
Certainly. Absolutely.
I kind of like the thing what me and Kylie were saying, like where we like middle schoolers would do it small group first, at least like once every other week, and then like it'd go to high school because I
Yeah.
feel like we can kind of get different perspectives on how it would be
Yeah.
like to get the message first and then the small group, or the small group first and the message.
So let me just clarify. And I promise, I'm not hating on anything y'all are saying. Because this is what this is for. I appreciate it.
I
It's
might
awesome.
not
Is this gonna be like one of those no shade but also shade moments?
No, it ain't. I don't really know what that means, but I think I do. I'm too old to know what that means.
It's like it's no hate, but there's also
Yeah, I
No
know.
offense, but
I get you.
and then
I
it's
get you. I
offensive.
inferred.
very offensive.
Here's just a bit of clarification that you all already know because y'all are awesome. Is if Wednesday night is the extent of where you're growing spiritually, meaning it's the only place that you grow spiritually, then you are not growing spiritually.
You're staying the same.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw this thing.
I
on
don't want to
TikTok.
say that. You are growing spiritually. You're not growing to your ultimate optimal
Potential.
more than you can.
Correct. I think no, I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying like Wednesday night needs to be a platform and a catalyst to what you do, and helps you through that. So there, to be completely honest with you, I'm just telling you, I've been in ministry a while now, and there is no perfect way to do it, especially with a youth group our size. What we're trying to do is to create again a platform of a challenging environment for you to grow spiritually. Not necessarily that you get 100% of your spiritual growth on Wednesday night. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it's just impossible, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Because that's
I-
like 2 hours out of the week that you're actually.
We can't hear you.
Oh.
I can hear. I have the headphones on. It
That's
works.
just
really?
like that's just 2 hours out of the week that you're growing.
100%. Yeah.
So it's not gonna
And let's just
fulfill you the way you need to be fulfilled.
yeah, let's just assume too
That's
that
all.
we're counting Sunday too. I mean that's 4 hours.
I saw this thing on TikTok. Okay,
Oh.
I know it's on TikTok. Crazy.
Not TikTok.
You
It
saw from
said it
China.
was like you're. It was like you're gonna starve if you only eat on Sundays and Wednesdays, and it's like this is not about food. So it's basically saying like you're gonna starve of
You need food to grow.
devotion and all stuff. Like you need to do it every single day instead
Correct.
of just at church to grow.
Yeah, like if you only eat.
Can't hear you.
If you only eat on Wednesdays and Sundays, your food,
You starve
but it's
to
not
death.
about food, then you're gonna starve. But if you eat every single day and you're trying to grow every single day, then you'll grow.
Magic.
Wise words.
Okay.
Wise
so,
words.
So, like, if you're like only on Wednesdays and like Sundays, like you're only going to church and you're only putting the time and effort on those days, then the other days of the week you're staying stagnant and you're not growing, and you're just staying in like the same place, and you're just going to fall deeper and deeper and deeper. Besides those days that you are growing.
Like,
All right. So I started going to Lifepoint last year, and I feel like I'm completely different from how I was before. But like
just out of curiosity, how did you hear about LPY?
Lifepoint, I heard about it from a group of my friends at school. My friend Hunter, he told me about it, and then at first I was like, I didn't want to because everybody was just saying that they only come here to hang out,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I was like, I don't think I want to do that. And then eventually I was like, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna see how it's like, and I loved it the first night I came here, and I've just started coming here every Wednesday and doing all that.
I'm guilty.
But it's like ever since the first time I came here, I would just like, mess around. Like it's like I wanted to be here, but at the same time it's like, I wanted to just mess around too. But now I come here to learn, and it's helped me like get my relationship with God, like, so it's helped me grow closer. Like it's taken time, like it's not going fast. It's taken me like a year to get where I am now.
Certainly.
And I'm just gonna keep growing
100%.
if I can work like that.
That's right.
I feel what Braden's going through because I started going, July last year? I started going with Annalise.
September.
September, something like that
That's when I
last
went.
year.
Get the month right.
I'm sorry, okay? But I used to go to church at a different church. I'm not naming names.
Please.
But
Yeah.
but
I would edit it out.
bleep,
We don't
edit-
edit. We don't edit around here.
bleep it out.
He ain't church haters around here.
But I used to go to this church and I didn't really learn really well there because what they would do, they would be like, okay, here's a message, here's this, because we were with a bunch of little kids and it was kind of like, this is this and this is this, and it would be like very simple, kind of like just easy over it. And then we would go into like, it wasn't really small groups because like we were still in the same room, but we would kind of like go into little groups, still small groups.
Yeah.
But then we would get a paper and like we would have to memorize a Bible verse, like have to, by the end of the day. And like if you didn't pass it off, you didn't get an award at the end of the year. So everybody was trying to pass it off, and I didn't learn that way.
We're actually about to start implementing mandatory verses that you have to memorize, and you each get a little gold star on a chart every time you do it.
No, we
Okay.
don't.
Bye, Lifepoint. I'm
But
But I
then,
have something.
Just
Okay.
Hey, Sal, I'm coming for you.
but then like I stopped going there for a little bit because I feel I was more mature in my Christianity than that, and I just stopped going for a while. And then me and Annalise became friends, and she was like, "Hey, you should come to Lifepoint." I said, "Okay." So I came, and then, like Braden said, I'm a completely different person in my Christianity than I was before I started coming here, because I learned the way that you teach, and that Desi teaches in small group, and like that's just how I learn in my Christianity, and that's how I get closer to Him.
That's good. That's good. That's awesome, Callie.
I had a similar experience with my last church, and it's not that it wasn't a good church. Our youth group was very small for sure. It was like on a good day we had 10 people in our room, but it was
a good day.
it has a lot to do with like fun versus focus, and we were only doing fun and we didn't wind down and focus. And I think the fact that you make it a point and a value for us to focus is like that changes the perspective that people look at the lesson.
That was the problem I had with the church before. It was like more about fun than it was focus.
What? They're making you memorize verses.
Yes, but like listen, so like we would go there, we would eat, and whenever you got done eating, you got to play like dodgeball or something in the gym, and then you'd go
Memorize
in
your
there.
verse, and then you go have fun.
Well, it wasn't like
I'm just
they were
messing
like
with
just
you.
memorize it. You can still look at your paper, but just like pretend to memorize it, and then we'll just give you a gold star, and just, you can go on and play. And that I didn't really like that.
I don't know about y'all, but mine was completely different. My grandma, she's like the biggest Christian. I used to go to church with her, and it'd just be like hardcore. Like you have to wear this, you have to do this, you have to pray like this, you have to read your Bible like this. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to go to church because they sound so mean. Like, I used to see churches like mean, like not as, like I don't want it to be fun necessarily, but I used to see it as like very rude. I used to see it as like they're trying to push something on me, and I didn't want to do that kind of.
Would you suggest that it is a better model to have fun and focus?
Yeah, I think it is better to have fun and focus because it's also very good to have focus. It's not like they were like mean people. It's just like I feel like the rules. I was very young, but I was like I have to do this all the time, and I felt like it was very pushed on top of me, and I didn't like it. But then that's why Braden, he went to this church first. He was like 2 weeks before me. And he used to go, and he was like, you should come. And I was like, no, I don't really want to come. Because, like, I always thought that church was, like, very, like, you had to do this and you have to do that to be a perfect Christian. But then once I started coming here, I was like, this is way completely different. That's why I, like, really like Lifepoint because it doesn't, you don't have to, also, we all have different levels. I feel like once you're older, you all are, like, on a good level with else Christ most of the time. And I'm like, I like how everybody here, we don't have to be on the same level to help each other.
Yeah. And Clay emphasizes that very much. He's like,
Yeah.
he very much emphasizes that you don't have to, but like he'll talk about like if you're a 2, you're still welcome here. If you're a 1, if you don't know who God is, you're still welcome here. He's like, even if you don't want to be here, if you're just here for friends, then you can still like be here, and I hope you learn something. And like, that's what, was it Pearl or one of her sisters?
I think both of them.
Both of them. Well, they said a story, or they told us a story the other day.
Sure, that was Lena.
Or Lena. Okay, yeah. She told us a story the other day. I think it was on Wednesday or Sunday, maybe Wednesday. Yeah. And she said that like she only came to Lifepoint because her sister wanted her to, or her friends, or something.
Because Pearl was sitting at it was when we were doing that worship with no.
That was Lena.
But she was like, I kept coming, and then she's like, I eventually realized like God's real and He's calling me to do something.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Avon, you had something to say?
I did. If you couldn't tell, I mean,
It's your time to shine.
but, I think the way that we do fun and focus is kind of like how chip brands make it to where you. Okay, this is gonna sound weird.
Did you
at
say
first.
chip
Chip brands?
Like Lay's potato chips.
Like pretzels,
Pringles.
chips, yeah, Lay's.
Okay.
They make their chips specifically so that you will want to eat another one. Like so you keep eating them because they want to make more money. And well, obviously that's not the point. But I'm
Catch
saying
in
like
there now.
This already does that.
The way that we do fun and focus is kind of like how we specifically make the taste or the lesson of God to where people want to come back and listen to the gospel and things like that.
Yeah.
Something like what I was saying earlier about the church we used to go to. It was like she said, it was very strict. Like you had to do this, you had to do that, and that was like it's not for me because I'm like a very playful person. I'm very active. Like I
You
like.
are?
Yeah. Yes. You know this.
What a surprise.
I take offense to that, but I like to have fun and I like to talk and I like to do all this and share my opinion. And they were just like you can't because I'm so young. I can't I don't have opinion basically.
Yeah.
And it's
He's a
like
yapper.
it was hard for me to learn because like I only said like if this is how church is like I don't think I want to go there. And it took me years to get back into church again. And once I did, it's helped me. Like whenever I started coming here, I feel like coming here helped me grow more than like growing. It helped me in a year grow more than it helped me in like it could have helped me 5 years at that church. Like OPY is like a really fun place, but you know what you need to do. Like you get taught stuff, but you also have fun while you're getting taught.
Yeah, it's not all like seriousness, and it's not like you have to wear a suit and tie. Boys do, and girls you have to wear dresses.
Yeah, I ain't wearing no monkey suit.
I'm gonna dress. I love
Jada,
it.
you,
Okay, Brady.
you had something to say.
Yes, you
earlier.
had something to say earlier.
That was a long time ago.
Well,
It's okay. We still
your
want to hear
time
you.
is now.
Was that the
Time
old
to
you?
shine.
Oh,
I honestly don't remember what I was gonna say, so I'll just pull something out of thin air. Let me think for like a second.
1,
Yeah, we're gonna all look at you and stare.
Uno, dos.
When I first came to LPY a year ago now, jeez. I was blown away by the leadership from like Clay and Pearl and like basically all the small group leaders, because the church that I went to before was like there were like 3 leaders and then 2 students. It was me and my sister and then like 2 other kids if we were lucky. So I was just blown away by the leadership and then also how these kids would come together and pray together and study the Bible, and I had never experienced that before. So it was really cool to see for the first time.
Yeah, let me just say too real quick that, like, as mentioned tonight, I think to make it tangible, you should be able to look back at yourself, and by you I mean anyone should be able to look back at themselves and think about like where I was a year ago and think, what a moron, like what, man, I can't believe I've come that far. Let me just say, not that you're a moron, Jay. That's not what
Shade, but no shade.
you have grown tremendously in a year. So, fantastic job. This snaps for you or whatever. Jada,
I have something quick to say.
Yes.
I
Is
went
that-
after Avon.
On like during worship nights, one of my absolute favorite thing to do is just look around and look at how many people are actually worshiping.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, with their hands up and
And
They're
like that they aren't ashamed, because I know a lot, like especially as a teenager, people are worried about getting judged and like what's going on around you. Don't be.
honestly,
Just
that
do your
used to
own
be
thing.
me. That used to be me because I used to be afraid to like put my hands up whenever we were praising and worshiping, and then I was like look around and there's like I was afraid of what people would think of me, but then now I look back and I'm like, it's okay, nobody judges you here.
If they do, they're not gonna say it to you. Like you remember you talking about one time,
Yeah.
like if people may think that about you, but nobody's gonna say that to you because they know that sounds like wrong to say.
Because it is.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Turns out it doesn't just sound wrong, it is wrong.
It is wrong, but nobody's gonna actually say that to you, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, I think, it sounds very braggadocious, but I think we do a pretty good job of creating an environment where that's rather unacceptable. Yes, Havana.
Also, oh, you can go.
No, go Havana.
Yeah, go.
Also, if they're judging you, they're probably just afraid to do it too. Like they're probably just they're probably just scared that they're gonna get judged by other people, so they judge you because they want to feel like it's like they want to feel better about themselves, so they judge you.
Yeah, if they're judging you, they're not in the
Clay's new word of the week is braggadocious.
Braggadocious. That is the second time. I used that a couple times tonight, didn't I? What was you gonna say, Jada?
I forget.
Dude wants to go.
Yeah, let him go. He hasn't gone.
Yeah, come on.
Give him the mic.
How did you do that? How did you do that?
He just broke the
Other
bike.
way, Avon.
I saw her testing it. This pen is weak.
He wants to go. He was like.
Go, Jada.
yeah.
It gives him time to think.
We're talking about braggadocious.
Braggadocious.
Oh no, it wasn't about that.
Did you ever
I don't
do
remember
bad?
what I was gonna say.
Why did it just?
Did you
It's cheap, Avon.
Analyze, did you ever do bad?
They don't look cheap.
Teep.
Teep. Yeah, hey, so when you pull don't pull from that, pull from the arm.
Oh.
No, she was trying to.
No, I did.
Child. She was trying to make
It's
it.
very, very high tech.
Yeah.
All right, let's watch.
Very fancy. Oh,
There you go. Yeah.
Oh no.
the cord fell.
Focus on something else.
Hit the camera off.
Run away.
Okay. So, are you gonna talk? Jada,
I'm not gonna talk. No.
do you have something to say?
Someone
That was a while.
go, bro.
Someone give me a topic
All
and I'll
right.
talk.
So like,
We're about to take a break.
no. Oh man.
We've
So-
been going for a while. Go,
about,
Braden.
so like LPY coming here, like it helped me. Like they were saying, like you seem scared and all that, but like my small group leader, Hot Rod Todd from last year, he knew, like I opened up to him and he just knew what I had gone through, and he had helped me. Like he helped me out a lot, and it like helped me get out of the shell. Like I was so scared to do anything, and that's how that like I got built. Like that's what built me to be who I am today. Like I would like to say if it wasn't for him and you, like y'all just talking to us and telling us everything, I probably would just like I wouldn't be in here. I would just sit here and wouldn't talk. Like I would not be as outgoing as I am now.
Clay said something about that a few months ago. I don't know why I still remember this, but I do. And it was like you have to have someone that you hold on to, but like that teaches you stuff. But you also have to find someone that you hold on to teach them
I
stuff.
said that.
Yeah, I
That
don't
sounds
know.
like
It's a few
something
months
Nancy
ago.
would say. That seems
No,
very
that was
Nancy.
that was you. That was
Skibbity
you.
toilet.
Go, Jada.
When I first came to LPY, I was petrified of talking to people. Me too. Twins. Okay. And it took, that was like 4 months for me to talk to anybody besides Desi or my sister. And I don't remember.
I forced you to talk.
You did.
See where she's coming from because
Nobody can hear you.
I can see where she's coming from because like whenever she had told me she'd be going to Lifepoint for a walk at beach camp on the way there, I was like, "Who are you?" I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you. Are you new?" She was like, "No, I've been going here for a while." I was like, "Why have I never seen you around? Why have you never talked to me before?"
Yeah, it was just. So, yeah, it was the leaders that pushed me out of my comfort zone that made me who I am today.
Like hot rod talk.
Yeah, LPY is such a good leadership program for the guys. Program.
All right, let's go Avon,
Especially,
then
like-
Jude, and then we're going to take a break.
Especially high schoolers, like, because whenever I was in middle school and we had the Anna Ruth and the high schoolers that were being small group leaders, it's really cool to look up to people who are around your age
Yeah.
that are leaders and learn from them how to become leaders.
Yeah, I mean, so just to speak to that a little bit, like that's why we do that. I mean, we want to enable and empower young people to do incredible things, which include similar to what Braden was talking about earlier. Like, just because someone's in high school as a high school student, don't mean they can't be a small group leader. Now, obviously, we're not going to put a junior with a junior.
I want to be a small group.
I want to be a small group leader.
Hey, we are up and coming.
I wanna be
Y'all are up
one.
and coming.
Can I be
Can I be
one
one
next
class?
year?
The
Freshman?
requirements that you take my class.
I can be one.
Right.
When does your
Uh,
class take place?
Let's go, Jude. Then we're
Just
going to take
kidding.
a break.
Give him a topic. You need a topic.
Give me a topic.
Please.
Give them a
What are
question.
your, what are your thoughts on
Be nice. Use your
What are your-
manners.
What are your thoughts on Skibbity Toilet?
No.
Braden,
no.
just-
What do you, Jude? What do you think is the top contributor to your spiritual growth?
Easier topic.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Thank you, Ava.
Who is somebody
Definition.
in your life that's around you that helps you grow spiritually?
Correct. But you got to talk into that joker. Get right up there.
Have you ever looked at somebody and like been like, wow, they're such a good at helping somebody grow. Like,
Who's helped you grow spiritually?
Probably Will.
Mm-hmm. Will's a good one.
Will, because I've just known him forever, and I look up to him. That's one of my idols, I guess.
Will's a fantastic individual that connects with people very well. That's good. All right, so we shall take a break after Callie gives one last
Okay.
hold on. Callie's going to give a
important.
very brief point.
Okay. Are we done? Is everybody
Go,
done?
Callie.
Okay. Group 1 loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Love you guys.
Welcome back to the Inside on episode 4 here, where we're talking about spiritual growth. We have a brand new table here, as you can see. Adrian went to the bathroom, so we'll see her in a minute. But nonetheless, it's what we have. What are you doing?
Trying to get it like out of the way.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
But it's like right in front of me.
Put it down.
Oh.
My goodness. So we are going to continue our conversation. Obviously, table 2. Don't know what table 1 talked about, which is kind of the design. It's kind of interesting. We are talking about spiritual growth, our second core value, a challenge, a place to grow. Growing spiritually, obviously. So here's my first question. What does it mean to grow spiritually? And how do you do that? Go.
I feel like it means to like get closer with God and like spread the gospel and get to like know him more and have a better relationship with him. And like want to always continue to like get better at doing that.
Yeah. How do you do that?
I pray, I read my Bible, I talk to like Journey, I talk to friends that I go to church with about it.
That's good.
For me, spiritual growth means being able to know where you're at on like the level with your spiritual, and being able to know how to help each other with
Good.
your spiritual growth.
So go ahead, Journey.
And I think that a good community helps you get to that.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's interesting. That's a good point you made. So let's ask this question: is it possible to grow spiritually without community? You think so?
I think it's possible to grow, but I think it's just like I think like if you, oh my gosh, I'm saying like so much. I think if you have your like community around you, it just like pushes you, and it like makes you, I guess, like desire it more because you see the people around you wanting the same thing that you want.
That's a good point. Common goal.
I think it's good to have your community, but you can't also have them as like reliance. Like you can't rely on them to be the reason you grow with God.
Like having like a good balance between like you growing on your own and then like you also growing with the with the community helping. You know what I mean?
And it's also
Okay.
like you can use your community and your friends like who are on a higher spiritual level than you are as motivation and be like, well, look at their like spiritual level with God. It's like I want to have that relationship with God too. You know what I mean?
Use the influence of others, motivation. That's a good point. Let me ask this. So, like, maybe someone who's listening to this, they'd like to grow spiritually. So, like we talked about tonight, they do long for that spiritual milk that we talked about, but they don't know how. So, what's some tangible advice that you would give someone? And they said, "I'd like to grow spiritually. Tell me how."
Okay, so I actually get this question I have gotten this question asked. I can't see Clay, it's bothering me. I have gotten this question asked before, and I feel like the common answer for like most Christians to give is like just start reading your Bible, just go to church and like things like that. And I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to answer or to like give like a
tangible
answer because I grew up in church. Like I was
very obvious to you.
I was just born around that type of stuff.
You were born this way?
Yeah.
You were born this way.
Did
anybody get that reference? Or is that old? Is that too old?
It was just you.
So,
You're old. But I feel like the common response to being when someone's like, I want to grow my relationship with God and like, all this stuff. But I feel like just start doing just start doing it. Like don't overthink it. Don't feel like you're not good enough don't feel like you're not good enough to start reading your Bible, or like you're not at the right place to start reading your Bible, start going to church. Like it's not, you don't have to do steps. Like you just have to start doing it, and you just have to desire it. And if you don't desire it, then no part of you is going to actually want to grow.
Ditto.
Okay.
No, that's a really good point.
If you really want it, then like you'll work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And for me, I feel like with telling people, like, since a lot of people are like, just read your Bible, and stuff like that, it ain't just reading your Bible. It's wanting to read your Bible.
Yeah,
It's
that too.
wanting.
And when people are like, just read your Bible, just pray, sometimes like that's not like what helps you. Like, yes, that's part of growing up spiritually, but like for me, like praying and reading my Bible is like not the, I guess I don't know how to like explain it without it sounding like
I
don't
had an
know.
interesting thought.
Okay.
To maybe help explain what you're saying, Adrian, because I think you're 100% right. I think where people get in trouble with that is when someone says they want to grow spiritually and you tell them to read their Bible, pray. That is not bad advice.
Yeah.
That's good.
I agree.
However, I think where we get in trouble with that is we look at the Bible and prayer as a end to itself rather than a means to an end.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if someone said, I would like to go on vacation to Hawaii or Los Angeles in California or New York, no one is going to get in a car and as they go down the highway go, man, this is a great vacation.
Right.
Going down the road, this is what we wanted. But the highway is how you get to the vacation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Reading the Bible, maybe you do enjoy just like on an intellectual English level because you're into literature.
Right.
Maybe you do enjoy
Right.
that. But that's not the ultimate point you're trying to get. The Bible is the highway in which you're trying to use to understand God better.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want a better relationship with Him. Same thing with prayer. Like, I love talking to myself. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I talk
Yeah.
to myself daily. But that's not what I'm doing when I'm praying. I'm praying, I'm talking to God. It's a means to an end, not an end to the means.
I guess like what I'm trying to say is like some people grow spiritually in different ways. Like if like I feel like I grow spiritually like the more I worship and the more I listen to music. You know what I mean? Like worship music. And then like some people feel like they're connecting with God more when they're like reading their Bible. And like you said, like you prefer like you like to pray. So like I don't know, I just feel like
I'm gonna disagree with you just a little bit. So, I think we all use the same methods, if we want to call that methods, to grow spiritually. So it's not like someone can say, "I like worship better, so I don't have to read the Bible."
No, yeah.
That's just not what you're saying. I'm just saying like we all read the Bible,
Right.
pray, worship. However, to your point, is we all have different personalities. So, I'm not a very emotional person. I don't know if y'all have noticed that.
Oh, we know.
But I'm just
See, like you like to, not that you like to pray more than you like to worship, but it's just like that's just you.
Mhm.
Like you just
I gravitate towards one.
Right. That's
Sorry.
what I'm trying to say.
I
Is
agree with
like
that.
yeah.
I think though what's interesting, and I know you're not saying this, but we are sometimes tempted to try to use that our own personality as an excuse.
I do agree.
So, to be quite, I enjoy worship. I'm not saying I don't, but you are right. Like I more gravitate towards prayer, or more so even Bible reading, than I do worship.
Yeah.
If in a worst case scenario, and something inappropriate would be for me to be like, I'm just gonna read my Bible. I don't have to worship.
Yeah.
That's not right. That's not true.
I feel like I guess like you said, like method, we feel like we gravitate to the most. But I still feel like for me that's worship and reading my Bible. But I still feel like prayer's 10 times more important as all that other stuff is. You know what I mean? Like I feel like every method there is just as important as everything else.
Well, now that we get into the weeds of it and get deep. It's getting deep.
Oh, okay.
Right Let's what you just said, because there's somewhat of an error in what both of us have been saying, and
Right.
that is like if we're going to look at it on a very minute microscopic level, or a large one, depending on how you look at it. Reading my Bible is both prayer and worship.
Right.
I think part of what we're saying, another issue or error that we run into, is kind of like we said tonight in worship, is sometimes I think we try to relegate worship down to this cute little 30-minute schedule that we've got. And that's jacked. That's not real. Like, I'm not saying that you can't schedule worship for 30 minutes and worship not happen in those 30 minutes, but to try to box worship into a 30-minute schedule is incorrect.
Right.
Whereas sometimes I'm reading my Bible, hopefully most of the time, I'm reading my Bible and I read about the throne room of God and I'm in awe of it. And I'm just thinking about how amazing He is. That's worship.
Yeah.
While simultaneously, I'm so thankful that I get the opportunity to read your word, to understand like that you would even give this vision to Isaiah and you would pin it down in a 6th chapter of this book, and and that I could understand what it's like to see your throne room of God, even though I've never experienced that. That's prayer
Right.
too, in the midst of one activity of Bible reading. So it's really interesting.
I feel like there's also like different stages of spiritual growth.
Oh yeah,
Because
100%.
it's like
Yeah.
there's that stage
That's where the
it's like
mashed potatoes and English peas.
yeah, there's that like stage where it's like I love God so much, I want to get to know Him. I'm gonna and like you're so motivated, and then like a week or two later, you could be like, I don't want to do this anymore, and then you could just feel like you want to give up. But like how I grew up and how I have like understood it, it's like if you're feeling unmotivated and you feel like, well, what's the point of all this? Like especially if you're going through a tough time trying to work on spiritual growth, it's like if God really wanted me to get closer to Him and have a relationship with Him, that He wouldn't be putting me through all this. And then so it's like, what's the point? But then how I grew up, it's like that's the devil trying to get in your head and try to get you off your path.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay, so like Marley said, I kind of like have an example because it like just recently happened to me. So, you know, as y'all know, I just had my ACL surgery. It's like like Anna Ruth said, it's quite literally been my whole personality apparently. So it's like Taylor Swift, Jesus, and my ACL.
Of course, Anna Ruth would say.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. But, so I had FCA camp, I think about 2 days before I tore my ACL. So, you know, coming back from FCA camp, I was like on a high. I had like
Spiritually.
Right.
High.
Right. Spiritually, I was on a high. I was on a high spiritually. And, like I had cut people. What are you about to say?
Nothing. I was just enjoying that.
And like I cut people off that like I should have cut off a long time ago. I was like, not that like I have been at a spiritual low for so long, but like I was just so, I guess like in the midst of the storm, like I just felt so stuck. So then, like after, Clay keeps laughing at me.
That's a great way to say something. I just assumed.
We don't have a light.
Oh my, oh sure. Okay, so what was
In the midst of the suck.
I was in the midst of the storm. I felt stuck.
In the midst
Oh, you
of
said
the light.
stuck? I thought you said I was in the midst of the suck.
Of the storm, I felt stuck.
Did anybody else hear that?
No, that was just
Okay.
you. Okay.
That's why I thought you said I was in the midst of the suck.
Anyway.
Interesting way of saying that. Like, I mean, we got the point across.
I mean, I just like felt so stuck. So then coming out, like,
Oh, you felt so stuck. Okay.
oh,
Gotcha.
so
I'm with you now.
so then you know, next day was Sunday. Came to church. I was just on a high spiritually, and I was just doing great. Okay, Monday I have practice, and you know all that happened. Find out Friday I tore my ACL. Okay, so I was just like doing so great. I was doing so great, and I had finally felt like I had made progress spiritually, you know? So then I was like, oh my gosh, I just tore my ACL. Like, my life is literally falling apart. Because, like, injuries suck. Like, they oh my gosh, they're one of the worst things I've ever had to go through. And everyone was like, why aren't you, like, are you sad about, like, your injury? Like, what? And honestly, after I had found out about my injury, I was like, I just felt very down, but I was also like, God is literally still the same. Like, He was still the same before I tore my ACL, and is still the same after I tore my ACL. So that's why I was so, like, not even bothered by it, because, like, one, there was literally nothing I could do. Like, I already tore my ACL. Like, what can I do, you know?
That is it's interesting. Like what I'm about to say, it's not even near as traumatic as tearing an ACL, but yesterday the transmission went out in my truck.
Oh, that transmission! God, my goodness, you poor thing.
Well, I mean, to give a little bit of clarity, maybe to all you haters. That my dad bought that truck when I was 10.
Oh, that's actually so sad.
There you go. I hope you feel bad. So
Jesus still loves
So
you.
I grew up in that truck, and then my dad kind of like handed it down to me,
Oh,
and I love that truck, right?
amen.
So, but me and Carissa were talking about it last night, like what we're gonna do. I gotta look for something now, yada yada. And Carissa's like, well, I mean, and then I'm a naturally rather negative individual.
Oh, point.
So,
True.
so I'm like, my gosh,
Nothing
now we're
new.
gonna have a monthly payment, blah blah. I've never had a monthly payment on a vehicle. This is dumb, blah blah blah.
A vehicle?
Yeah,
A vehicle?
a truck. Excuse me.
No,
What am I supposed
a
to say?
vehicle.
Vehicle.
Just continue your story.
It has an H in it, Adrian.
I know, but like vehicle.
It's like silent.
It's a vehicle. It ain't silent.
Vehicle. Okay, continue. No.
Popsicle.
Oh my gosh, she's looking it up. Vehicle. It's no. Google's gonna pronounce it that way because I've had this discussion before.
Of course it is, because it's right.
No, vehicle.
All right, y'all just be quiet and listen.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be wrong.
Vehicle.
See? No.
It said say it slow.
Hold on. Go.
Slow.
Yeah.
Vehicle.
Vehicle.
Obviously, Google's wrong.
He's just
You just said it was right.
So anyway, what was
Anyway,
I saying? What was I
You were
saying?
saying
You were right,
you've never
Adrian.
had a
I'm
monthly
sorry.
payment
I'm
on a
going to
vehicle.
continue to call it vehicle now.
Okay, you've never had a monthly. You've never had a monthly payment on
I've
a
never
vehicle.
had a monthly payment. Blah, blah, blah. Woe was me. And Carissa said, well, I mean, ain't no sense in worrying about it. I mean, God provide. He always provides stuff. And I looked at her, and I said, well, no, I mean, I'm not worried about it. Like, I'm not anxious about it at all. And I don't say that to be like, oh, well, the miners, they've got it figured out. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, the reason why that was so bizarre to me that she would say that, which I'm glad she did. I'm not like upset that she said that. It's just interesting to me that when you have Christ in your life, you don't have to worry about stuff like that, or you're not supposed to have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Like, a truck is minor. No pun intended. Last time, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even remember what that had to do with what you were talking about. But
She's talking about her.
No, I mean yes, but
yeah, I
like,
have no idea what that.
Oh
had to do
yeah,
with
and then
the
you was
ACL.
like, it's not as traumatic.
it's
but
not as
my
traumatic.
transmission went out in my truck.
No, but
No, out of his
hey,
head.
but the vehicle was important to you, so that's all that matters.
I don't know why I brought that up though. There was a reason.
Oh, I don't know either. You just
What
said
were you talking about, like when tragedy happens or something?
I was saying that God is still the same before and
Oh,
God
it
is still the
is,
same
yeah.
after.
Okay, there was my point. Thank you. Adrian.
Wait, Marley has to.
Point. Hold on, we'll get to it. My point is because he is that way, then I don't have to worry and have anxiety.
Right. Like it just gives me peace knowing
Indeed.
you're going to have struggles no matter what. Like no matter what you do, you're going to at some point be in the middle of the storm.
Tear
Like
your
no
ACL,
ifs, ands, or buts. Like that's just the
ruin
part
your
of
transmission.
that's just a part of your plan, and that's a part of your progress for your spiritual life.
Indeed. That's a big point. We're getting to you, Chloe. I promise. But
Chloe, that's Marley.
Marley. I'm sorry.
I'm Chloe.
Sorry. I mean, to be fair, y'all do look rather similar.
Not really.
We don't.
They do not.
No, because that gets on. No, because that gets on.
Hey, we do look very similar.
Hey, Lincoln. Oh, sorry.
I jacked up.
Lincoln.
I jacked up names in table one.
All right, Jordan, we're coming to you. Sorry, Lincoln.
Just go ahead, Marley. Go ahead. What did you have?
Carissa.
Go ahead, Terry.
10. I called Lynn 10.
Oh, yeah. I heard that.
Marley.
All right, what you got, Marley?
Like how she was talking about how like her ACL and stuff. That's like my injury. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I've just been so down, and like my life is ruined. Like, what am I supposed to do for 6 months? Like,
You're a cheerleader, correct? Right. You got that cheerleader. Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you tear your ACL as well?
I dislocated my kneecap twice, and it's messed up the ligament that holds my kneecap in the right spot, so it doesn't go back in the right spot.
Okay.
So
I see your bougie.
Okay, terms.
My transmission went out.
Now she can't be. Now I don't have a doubles partner in tennis.
back to my story, Marley.
Okay, Lincoln, continue.
Yesterday,
not yesterday, Monday or Tuesday or whatever day it is, I had to go and I scheduled my surgery. And then I told my mom on the way back home, I was like, what am I supposed to do? like, this is like the end of my life. And then
It's so real, your surgery like an execution.
and
I wouldn't go to that hospital. It's just a knee.
Her doctor is rather scary.
Our doctor is rather scary. Rather frightening. She is rather scary. But she was like, you're overthinking it. Like, it's fine. Like, you're going to be okay. And then I was thinking about it today, and I was like, this is God's plan. Like, this is like, I'm going to be okay. And then Pearl actually mentioned today in small group, I think, she was like, stuff is going to happen, and it's all part of God's plan. So, like, there's no need to, like, stress about every single thing. And that kind of, like, spoke to me because it was like, this is God's plan. So, like, I don't need to, like, I'm not dying.
100%.
It's not the end of my life.
Like, with, like, getting back to the motivation part, I feel like sometimes we can...
Go ahead.
I feel like we can sometimes, like, be unmotivated because, like, worst thing... Huh?
You got to talk in that microphone.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Back to what I was saying about motivation. I feel like we can sometimes get, like, unmotivated because we have something else to focus on or something else that takes our attention away from worship and from God. Mm-hmm. Like, with their injuries and stuff and, you know, your tragic story about your transmission. Like, I feel like there's stuff...
Vehicle.
I feel like there's stuff that can, like, take your focus away from trying to, like, build a stronger bond with God and stuff.
I agree.
Kind of going back to what Adri said, like, my whole life I grew up in church. Like, since it's like I literally was born in church. Like, there was no hospital. And so
I mean, basically, yeah.
It's like I came out of the womb and they're like, okay, church, this is where you're... Yeah. And so it was like, and then I used to, like, go to this church that was like, I feel like, not that they were teaching the wrong thing, but they weren't really teaching me what I needed to know. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I just kept going there, and then I stopped going to church for a really long time. And so, like, kind of what we were talking about, it being, like, seasons of, like, different, like, seasons of your spiritual growth. And I felt like that was, like, a down season. Then I started coming here, and then I was, like, still in that place. And then Matt, one night, he came and he taught a lesson, and that was the night I accepted God into my heart. And that week, I felt so happy. Like, I was trying to do everything I could to spread the gospel. I was reading my Bible. I was praying every night. And then, I don't know, like, something just happened, and I stopped doing all that. Like, I stopped looking to God to, like, help me with stuff. And I feel like I'm just, like, slowly letting him back in. But I feel like I'm still just stuck in that place just a little bit. Because, I don't know. It's just something's, like, there's something that's keeping me from doing what I need to do to get closer to God, you know?
I wonder, and this is a perspective thing perhaps, but I'm not saying that when we first come to Christ that the high that we experience is not real. I think it absolutely 100% is.
Oh, yes.
But I think it also can create somewhat of a, for lack of a better term, inauthenticity as well.
Okay.
And here's what I mean. So, like, I remember when me and Carissa first started dating. I'm sure y'all have heard the story. I mean, I was in ninth grade and she was a senior.
We have.
And I'm just, like, telling you, for that first year, I was in preservation mode. Like, don't mess this up. Do not mess this up. Do not mess this up.
And afterwards, you didn't care?
Well, keep listening. So, for a year... I mean, that's like, I'm just making decisions based off of, I need to not mess this up. Mm-hmm. And so, after a year, I was kind of like thinking to myself, if this is going to work out, this ain't going to work right here. Like, because this year was in preservation mode and she hasn't gotten like fully 100% authentic Clay. She's gotten Clay trying to preserve the relationship. And so I like made this decision of like, I'm gonna have to be real with her, get out of this preservation mode type of way of looking at things, making decisions, and then show her real Clay, and then we'll see what happens. Like, it either sinks or we swim, you know. And I did, and it was quite a cultural change, but obviously we made it. My point being, though, I think perhaps that might be a part of it. Like, I think when we first come to Christ and we're on that spiritual high, the world looks fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is fantastic, and until it doesn't. And then when it does not, when it does not, then we have to figure out a way for reality to set in. You know what I'm saying? And find I don't want to say a real relationship with Jesus. The relationship was real. I'm just saying, I don't even know, like a real way of continuing in a relationship and in the most authentic way. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
So I actually had another point, but I do not remember because Mace was talking, and so it gave me like another point. You know? Okay. So,
just state one of them, maybe.
So, okay. So, like you said, when you're talking at
Carissa?
No, when you were talking at the church, when you were giving your sermon, when you said when we start doing things and we don't see progress, I was thinking like we desire like the new things, like things that are new to us and things that are like not like something that we're not used to doing. Like we just want to keep on doing it for like a little bit, and then we'll just like be like, I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? And not that. Say what you're gonna say.
Well, I was just going to like. I did not mention the Bible study quote that we used in Bible study during the message, by the way. But what we talked about in Bible study, we're trying to figure out like this reality of like, where does works fit into salvation? We're not saved by works, obviously, but there should be works. And I think the way we said this is, if love, aka Jesus, does a work in you, then love will do a work through you.
Okay.
Right. So the point in that is, I think you're 100% right. Is when love does a work in us, then we are more than happy for love to do a work in us at the moment, because love is new.
Right.
Jesus is new. It's awesome. It's more than anything we've ever experienced before. But as time goes on, because we are sinful, because we live in the flesh, we struggle because we start giving attention and a love to other things other than love. You know what I'm saying? And other things will do a work in us as well. And when other things do a work in us, and well, we're more than happy to let it work in us too. I mean, Satan will do a work in you. Oh. And then you'll more than be and in that moment you won't never say this, Satan, please do a work in me. But Satan will do work in you, and then you'll work for Satan.
Yup. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it won't necessarily look like that. It'll look like something else.
I remember what my other point was.
We'll say that other point.
Okay, so that's not like a cute angle. Hold on.
Yeah, we gotta get that cute angle.
Get that cute angle, guys.
See my good side, guys.
Right.
Okay, so when I don't know, someone was saying something about like how you're gonna go through struggles, or maybe it was me, I don't even know, but like it's okay to be sad when you're going through something.
100%.
It's 100% okay. Do not dwell in it.
Mm-hmm.
That is I always have to, like, whenever people come to me, I'm like, it's okay, like, have your moment. It's okay to even have your moments, but do not dwell in it, because there's no need for you to dwell in it. It's not like you can just make it go away. It's not like you dwelling in it more and more is going to make it go away, because it won't. It's like just knowing and having peace knowing that it's all a part of the plan that God has for you. And I feel like sometimes it's just hard for people to understand that, especially if you're like a 2 or like a 1, or even if you're like a 7, and it's still hard for people to understand that. For me, like it just like hit. I think when it was like when I like lost my cousin, and then I like was at such a low, but like I'm not anymore. So it's just like that's just like have y'all ever seen that those like Instagram, not Instagram, I guess Instagram, I don't know, it's over social media, but it's like it's not a bad life, it's just a bad moment. It's just like your life isn't ending. Like Marley was saying, like she thought her life was gonna end. I thought my life was like, I thought I was done. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to move on from this. But like,
what's super interesting about that, and I don't mean any hate or shame to y'all at all.
He's hating.
To your point, I think that after a while, when your perspective changes, you get to see things the way that other people see them.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like when you tear your ACL or you get a knee injury and you say my life is over, I'm thinking that's silly,
right?
That's not true.
Still happens to you.
That's true,
right? That's what I was about to say.
But my point is it takes some time, but then you get to see that and you're like, my life wasn't over,
Right? Like you just have to get through the moment, and it's not like. I mean, like it'll take a while. It may take a week. It may take years for you to just get over it. But like at some point, you will be okay. Like at the end of the day, it is not that serious. And at the end of the day, it may be serious to you, but it's not something worth dwelling in.
Well, to that point, one of the most interesting things I've ever heard is from a guy named John Piper. And he says that he finds it interesting and probably rather intentional. Obviously, it's not verbatim. He says much more eloquent than I do. But that we spend a third of our life asleep.
Oh.
That's not a lot compared to how much.
Well, that's quite a bit. A third of your life, you are unconscious. But here's his point. The reason why that's interesting is
not conscious. You only have this bit to do all the stuff you want.
Andy's lesson of bits.
This bit, that bit, this bit.
What's interesting about that, his point with that is you spend a third of your life asleep, and the world just keeps on turning. It's not like the world comes to a standstill.
Like it stops when you go to
sleep.
sleep.
Is unconscious. We must halt.
Right. And it's not like the world is stopping when you're going through something bad.
Correct.
And it's not whatsoever. And I feel like, sorry, you can go.
When she's saying don't dwell on that little moment. Like your life is a big old circle, and in that circle there's a bunch of moments that's gonna happen in your whole life, and let's just say in like that big old circle of stuff that is gonna happen in your life, that one moment that you're still holding on to and won't let go of is just a tiny speck.
Indeed.
And to be able to move forward in like with your faith and stuff, you're just gonna have to
you
realize
have to let go of it.
That's true.
You're gonna have to like realize and let go.
And I can't remember who said this, but it was one.
Who said it?
But it was like one sermon at church, and then it was like, do all of these things that you're going through really matter when heaven is the end goal? It's like all this
I think
stuff,
that was Q. That was something Q would say.
I'm pretty sure it was, but it's like all this stuff that you're going through, that's nothing compared to what's like what's gonna happen,
and
the environment you're gonna be in.
Kind of like treating off of what she said. Like when you're in heaven, you're not even gonna think about that. And I know that's like hard to kind of like, process. Yeah, to grasp. But like, it literally doesn't matter. Like, it's easier said than done, but like, it doesn't matter.
It's like as we're living life right now, you think like one little thing, like, oh, he doesn't like me back, I'm done for. Oh, like da da da, like that's how it feels like. But at the end of the day, when you get to look God in the eyes and get to like be with Him, you're completely gonna forget about everything. And like y'all were saying, like it's hard to think about, like that's so far away. Like I just wanna be over with it now, like da da da. But like when you really think about it, when you finish like the race, like they always talk about in church, like the race to God and stuff like that. When you finish that race, you're gonna be so like proud of yourself, and you're gonna like you're not gonna regret one bit going through life and then being able to be with God.
Well, to May's point, she said, we act like eternity, heaven is so far away, unless it's not.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, like, what?
to
Like,
You know.
that's my point. Like, I'm not trying to be sinister. I'm just
no, but
saying,
like, you could literally die as you
Misdemeanor.
leave.
and it to the point, like, if let's say that you do die tonight,
I hope-
ACL don't matter no more.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Everyone, like, whenever I get asked about it, or whenever I get asked, like, why aren't you sad about this, and this? Like, I was sad like an hour ago, but I don't have to be sad right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that serious, and it's so hard for some people to grasp, and I get why it's hard, because at some point I didn't even understand that. I'm like, what do you mean it's not serious? But like, it's serious to me.
Yeah.
But like it's okay to have those moments.
Yeah.
But
Go,
like,
go, Marley.
She's
She's about to explode. Okay.
Oh, I've been having some of this for. Okay, go Marley. Go Marley.
Okay. Back to like what you were saying like way before, and then
You gotta like talk to the front.
You gotta like
No.
other way.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
we go. Hold it. Sorry. Far. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Way ago.
I was saying something.
So like I was thinking about it, and like when I first found out that surgery was like basically my only option, I was like, what? And so for the past, it's almost been a month since my injury. I like finally grasped like the thought today. This like I sat straight up and I was like, this is God's plan. Like I don't need to keep stressing over this because like it's happening. And I was texting Pearl and I was like, I'm nervous, but like, and then she was like, well, you're finally getting it fixed and it's God's plan, so like you should be happy. So now I'm just kind of like.
There's also, I don't know, like, when I thought of this, but it was not like any time close to right now. But I was thinking, like, of, like the stages of motivation in spiritual growth. And I feel like non-Christians have this belief that, like, oh, since you're Christian, then it should be easy to get through that spiritual growth and to have motivation and to want to do all this stuff that we want to do, but we just don't want to do at the same time. And I feel like it is even difficult for Christians to go through that because the devil is trying to throw you off track. And it's like, don't focus on God, focus on me, focus on the world, don't focus on,
Well, I think to your point, that's why Paul says in Romans, why do I do what I don't want to do and don't do what I want to do? And he's describing like this war inside of him. It's because we're stuck in two different places. We're aliens to this planet, and yet we act like we live here. So that's a really good point. Andy, you had something to say.
Okay, thank you.
I have something to say after.
Okay. So like, speaking of like heaven and eternity. Okay, I'm gonna use this as an example. So say like this is your lifespan, okay? This thumb.
Going back to the bits.
Yeah. It's like right here, okay? This is your lifespan on the edge of the table. The rest of the eternity is like a line going down this table, and then like forever and ever. Yeah. Imagine how big that is compared to this little.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yes. So like the little things. All the little things we obsess over, they don't matter. Like, he doesn't like me back. Okay, it doesn't matter.
At the end of the day,
The only relationship
It's not gonna matter whenever you're at the like
Yes.
depths of the like.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it's like
It's like
it
this
don't-
tiny.
it's
little
non-existent.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
One
Okay,
thing-
that's it.
Go, Chloe.
Okay, and like you're what
Marley tried.
We shut Marley down.
and your spiritual life and stuff is gonna be it's like a roller coaster. You're gonna go ups.
Talking to the.
Oh, sorry. Yours like your spiritual life is gonna like it's a roller coaster. It's gonna go up and down and down and around and all this stuff. But
at your lowest points, you're going to have to realize that that's the chance for you to grow. That's the chance whenever you're going to be able to reach your highest point instead of using that as an excuse to sin and all this stuff. Because whenever you're like in heaven and, you know, like, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm sorry I done that. I was at my lowest point. That it don't matter if it don't matter if you're at your lowest point or highest point. Lowest point to me really means that's the chance when I can get closest with God.
Marley.
One thing, like, everyone's like, it's this one bit, like, don't worry about it. Like, it's so, I feel like in this generation, so easy to say that, but not a lot of people, like, understand it and grasp it. Like, you could go to Journey and be like, it's just one bit, like, just get over it, you'll be fine. And then Journey, like, it's like hard to like kind of like get over it, like especially being like a teenager. You're like, you just don't understand, but you just kind of gotta know like it's God's plan, like just like let
go Journey.
Real quick. So what?
Wait.
No, go ahead. Okay, so what Chloe was saying about how like whenever I'm in my lowest, I feel like that's whenever I like am closest to God, you know, which I feel like can be different for people, but I feel like for me, that's whenever I'm like closest to God and like I talk to him the most. But I feel like I struggle like talking to God whenever I'm just completely fine. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Because I feel like I'm all good, you know, and then I get my lowest and I'm like, oh, gotta get all that God, but that and this and yeah.
All the what?
That and this.
The God.
That excuse.
I was like, okay.
You got me.
Okay, kind of going back to when we were talking about. Sorry, I'm trying to think about it. When we were talking about getting closer to God, this might seem really bad, but something that's been helping me is just like, you know how like in the Bible it talks about not being part of the world and wanting to be part of God's kingdom and stuff. That's been something that's been like helping me want to be closer to God, because sometimes I'm just like sitting and thinking about how bad this world is, like how sinful this world is. And lately I've just been looking around and like watching stuff and like just thinking about how I actually like, okay, what I'm about to say, don't take this like into like deep, but I was thinking about how much I like hate the world. Like I don't hate the people in it. I just generally hate the world. Yeah, like I hate
society.
Yeah, I hate what like
the sin causes society to do.
Yeah, I hate what like people are doing and like I don't, and like I'm just thinking if I hate it so much, I'm gonna do something to change it. And like you can't hate something and not try to change what you hate, you know? Cause like my friend posted this thing and she was like, you can't heal in the place you get hurt. So you can't.
Ooh. Okay. That was good.
So like
that was good.
So you can't keep like you can't keep expecting yourself not to sin when you're hanging around the same people that sin, you know? Like you can't be like, oh, my best friend's sinning. It's okay. I can let her sin while I just not sin while I'm sitting beside her as she sins. Like you have to take action. Either like help your friend not be as sinful or like just get away from it, you know? Like you have to let them go if that's what it takes to get closer to God.
And I feel like there's also different, like it's not like always just like toxic people to be around or like toxic family members, toxic friends. It can also be stuff like addictions. Stop looking at me. It can also be stuff like a bunch of kids. Stop laughing at me. It's
it's Clay. He's gonna laugh at you.
It's like a ton of kids at our school, like vape and stuff, and then they like use that, like, and it's specifically Christians too. They use that, and it's like if I vape and stuff, then I don't know how to word it. Like if you were in my mind, it would make sense. Like if I vape and stuff, then like it'll help me calm down and help me.
Like they'll use it as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Therapeutic.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. Marley's about to explode again.
I was gonna say another.
I also tell you, like, we need to be round or winding down. So
But I have something to say.
I'm not saying we can't say it. I'm just saying.
Hold on. I need to go.
Closing remarks.
What time is our winding down time?
Now.
Now.
How much is it?
Oh,
Go ahead, Marley.
I was thinking on you. She was like, people vape and stuff. I don't like. This sounds mean, but I don't like when people like sin so much over and over and over again, and then they're like, "Oh, it's okay if I pray. God will forgive me. It's okay if I do this."
That's like
it's wrong.
abusing
God will
grace.
forgive me."
That like Andy said, that's like an abusing way. Like it's just like taking advantage of your repentance.
and do you think
I
like
would suggest that's not repentance.
and do you think like
Well, true. Yeah.
go, like even though I know it's bad, God's gonna forgive me anyway.
Like, there's abusing.
Hold on.
Grace
That's like abusing.
Marley.
Which one?
Okay, you. When you were like the last time that you just spoke and you were saying how like you had been holding it in and you like had to say something, what were you talking about? Because I had a point and it was like feeding off of what you were saying and it has not left my brain and I need to know. You were like talking about how you were like texting Pearl and
Oh, I was texting Pearl how I was nervous, and then she was like, "It's a part of God's plan. Like, don't be nervous. Like, it's happening. Like, you're fixing it. Like, it's happening for a reason."
I don't know what I was gonna say.
All right, go, Andy.
Okay, the thing about like the world being bad and stuff. The thing
Last
is,
comment.
okay,
Last comment.
the world's always been.
Never mind. I just stuttered.
Anyways, the world's always been this cruel. Like people have always been evil. It's just that I feel like nowadays we're more aware of it because of like the internet and social media. Like, oh my goodness, this person's doing so and so. The world sucks. I wish things were like how they were back then. Things weren't any better back then. Come on.
I agree with that.
That's why
And
God
there's-
flooded the earth, except Noah.
And there's like a sense of comparison. It's like, if a person is like doing drugs or something, oh, well, I'm not that person, so what I'm doing is fine. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
There's always room to improve on your actions and your attitude.
All right, last comment.
Okay. Can I know?
Oh my gosh, I remembered what I was
with with Morley saying just because like with addiction and everything and saying, oh, if I pray he'll forgive me, like I feel like God will forgive but he will never forget what you done. Like how
He's
you
gonna hold you accountable.
how you used him and stuff. I feel like he'll forgive but won't forget.
Wait, let me say this thing, please. I'm itching to say this.
Last comment.
Okay.
no, I'm the last one.
Okay, so
This is the last comment, guys. Go. Wrap it up.
okay, so like the friends, back to the friends thing. When we were talking, why are you staring at me? So when we were talking about like friends being like, oh, what I'm doing is not as bad. Don't let your friends hold you back from being close to God, because at the end of the day, that same friend is the one that's gonna be trying to drag you down the steps to get to God, and they're gonna like.
May's literally cooking. Hold on. Hey, listen. So
All right, last comment.
Okay.
Last comment.
last one.
Actually, the last
This
comment.
this has
Last
to
one
be.
for real.
Stop, don't say anything.
Okay,
Then I'm gonna like. Get
So
something.
it was Marley when she was saying how like people say how Christians have it easy and stuff, and like we literally don't. Like we're like it's like we're human and so are you. Even if you're not a Christian, like you're human as well, and we're like it's like it just makes me like.
Hey, thank y'all so much for joining us on the 4th episode of The Inside. It's been a great discussion, Table 1 and Table 2.
We cooked them.
We cooked.
We cooked.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, so we
God forgives but never forgets.
remember
His truck.
Don't let your friends drag you.
His poor truck, guys.
The
He
ending.
forgives.
The ending has been. We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Amen.
Everyone's saying it together.
Ready?
So
3, 2, 1.
We love you.
Love you.